You go out in the woods today, be sure not to go alone. For everywhere in the woods today, the teddy bear's having a picnic. Christmas time is for teddy bears, a cully little teddy bears. Hi everybody, this is my salute to teddy bears. I mean, what a Christmas. Besides baby Jesus, Santa, elves, and cookies, is more important than teddy bears. Everybody has received a teddy bear at one point in time at Christmas. And they just hug you when you have a beautiful cuddle. Such a warm feeling at Christmas. Someone called me a teddy bear today, and I thought that was really a nice gesture. And so that's why I did this, dressed up like a teddy bear. And also to read The House of Wooden Santas by Kevin Major. And here, can I borrow those glasses? Thanks. 7 days to Christmas. Outside the house of wooden Santas, Jessie's mother began the first thing in the morning, smiling broadly from across the kitchen. Some fellows heard the call of the wild. She howled like a young wolf. Okay, thought Jessie, what's up now? He gave his mother a sharp eagle eye. She howled a little more. The woodsman is wild about nature. He knows every bird and beast by name. He can spot a partridge at 100 yards. He can snowshoe better than a snowshoe's hair. Yeah, now I get it, Jessie said to himself. On the kitchen counter was a red toque, and his mother was wearing the day before. She held it upright by a tassel. Here it is! She howled again, just as she whipped the toque from the counter. Santa of the Wilds! Mom, Jessie said with a glowing whine. His mother grinned mischievously. At school that morning, Jessie came face to face with Mr. O'Donnell acting more strangely than his mother. During the opening announcements, Mr. O'Donnell looked as if his mind was in the clouds, floating around the classroom. When it landed on Jessie, it came with a long, bright-eyed smile that reminded Jessie of an overgrown elf. Each time his teacher looked at him, Jessie couldn't help but think of his mother and Mr. O'Donnell tramping through the woods on snowshoes. When Jessie arrived back home, his mother was hard at work. He poked his head in her room. Heard anything from Mrs. Wenzel? Do we still have to get out of the house? His mother dropped her paintbrush and looked at him with suspicion. Are you up to something? Oh, I was just wondering if she called, maybe. His mother's eyes filled with concern. No, dear. Jessie left before she had a chance to ask him any questions. He phoned Jonathan right away. No word, nothing, he told him. There was a lot of grumbling and then a long silence. Guess we need a stage 2, said Jessie finally. Guess so. Dad said she's a tough nut. They chuckled a little. Time to bring out the nutcrackers, Jonathan said, and they chuckled a little more. Wow, said Jessie. What? Said Jonathan. Nutcracker. Get it? Santa's magic must still be at work in my head. Wow. What you mean? Sugar plum fairies and all that. Operation Wenzel Stage 2. Exactly. They worked out a plan. That night, Jessie would call up Mrs. Wenzel, and as soon as she answered, he would play the music from the Nutcracker over the phone. They each looked up Mrs. Wenzel's number in the phone book, and when they agreed they had the right one, Jessie wrote it on his hand. I can see her dancing now. A little girl again, Jessie said, dancing with the spirit of Christmas. They could hardly wait. After supper, Jessie went straight to clearing away the table and running the water for his mother to wash the dishes. You're being very helpful tonight, she said, suspicion in her voice. I know you're anxious to get back to work. He looked at her as if she were acting strangely for no reason. Jessie set out his school books on the kitchen table and started his homework. The second his mother went into the workroom, he called out, Okay, if I put on some Christmas music? That'll be lovely. Turn it up loud enough that I can hear. From his jean pocket, he plucked a tape with The Dance of Sugar Plum Fairy on it. He slipped it into the boombox on the kitchen counter. He had to wait out the 12 days of Christmas, which seemed to go on forever. Finally, the 12 Lords of Leaping. Jessie turned up the music a couple of notches, then dialed Mrs. Wenzel's number. All but the last digit. As soon as the Sugar Plum Fairy took over, he hit the final number on the phone. He held the receiver close to his ear, but not so close it would block out the music. Someone picked up the phone. A dog was yapping in the background. Hello? Definitely Mrs. Wenzel. Jessie held the receiver in the air and as near to the boombox as the cord would stretch. He couldn't help but do a little sugar plum dance, just as he imagined Mrs. Wenzel was doing in her own kitchen that very second. Jessie! The yell of his mother from the workroom. Jessie stared at the receiver in his outstretched hand. He ran to the telephone and banged the receiver back in place. Jessie, turn the music down. It's too loud. How can you concentrate on your homework? He couldn't. Not now. The telephone rang. Mrs. Wenzel, he panicked. Mom, he yelled. Could you get that? I gotta go, bad. He ran to the bathroom, locked the door, and sat on the toilet cover in dread of what might come next. Jessie, it's for you. Jessie winced. It's Jonathan. I'll be right there. He flushed the toilet, then hurried to the phone. His mother held the receiver. That's quick. You don't look well. You don't have diarrhea, do you? Mom! He took the receiver. Jonathan was laughing. It's not funny, Jessie groaned. It was several minutes after his mother finally drifted back into her workroom before Jessie could whisper to him about his rotten luck with Mrs. Wenzel. Maybe she didn't hear. Maybe she's deaf, yeah, right? Maybe she hung up before it happened. Either way, it was a disaster. There was glum silence. Guess we'll have to figure out on a stage 3, said Jonathan. More glum silence. Until tomorrow.